The challenge in our community, beloved, is this, is that you can't solve a problem with the same level of mind that created it. Consciousness must go above or below to analyze. So with our community, we haven't been able to have the mental chemistry so that we can produce a family. Because the masses of black men want to feel good without responsibility. So if in fact I want to play with you because you look good. You see, like this, if you show me something, I get excited. I understand you want me to be attracted to you, but I'm a man. So that's how we meet, right? And you're showing me just about everything. Don't be upset with me if I leave after I get everything. Can we have a real conversation?
Yeah, let's be real.
We can solve it, and the way that we solve it is with this, in this particular way. I have 2 older sons, and they're both in college. So I told my sons this: not so much of sex, but sacred energy exchanged. Which means this: until you can have a mental connection with the woman, you should want a physical connection. Because if you be like daddy and plant a seed and not at home with your child at nighttime, that causes you pain. So I've taught my sons my choices.
Okay, so stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you said a whole lot right there. You got to stop. Okay, take a deep breath. No, I don't want you to stop as in everybody take a deep breath. Because I went into, my goodness, no. Okay? Now what I want you to do is back up just a little bit. And I want you to repeat what you just said.
You know, I don't write anything down.
So what you were talking about, I know you do. That's why I stopped you. No, I know you do. That's why I stopped you. You was talking about your sons and how you taught them. It's not about a sexual. Yes, that one. Go back.
Yes, yes. So that part. So I didn't raise my sons with that saying, "Oh, good boy, you had sex. Oh, look at that girl." I didn't raise them like that because I wanted them to understand that with that physical action comes responsibility. So I taught my sons that sex stands for sacred energy exchange.
Stop. Sacred energy exchange. Okay. Sex stands for sacred energy exchange.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add something to this.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. For the Christian folks, listen to this. We often talk about sex as a sin. Outside. Let me finish it. I got you. No, sex outside of marriage is a sin. We say that, right? So we teach don't have sex before marriage, but it ain't stopped not having sex before marriage. We can act like it stopped it, but it hasn't stopped it. And I've been in church all my life. It hasn't stopped. We've had a lot of people having babies, having sex, having relationships, all kind of stuff before they're married, right in church. Okay? And the reason being, what it says is, if you go back and look at it, it talks about that's the place where you do harm to yourself because you're opening yourself up. The energy, you're opening yourself up to different partners. And when you're opening yourself up to different partners, you're creating soul ties.
Yes.
Okay? Just like it, that's why at one point, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, we talked about the responsibility. Everyone talks about, and I'm gonna let you chime in, talk about how we have to teach the girls what to do and not to do and what to say. And I said, well, you gotta teach the boys too.
Exactly.
We have to that when everybody understands who they are, okay, when everyone has a respect for self, my temple, then I will respect who I come in contact with. And I will no longer, regardless to what she or he has on or not have on, I will no longer just take advantage of it because I can. Although I may feel a certain way. Understand what I'm saying?
You said a mouthful.
Okay, can I have...
And then she had something she wanted
Yeah.
to say.
She said, why is it that people find it hard to date African American women? This is my cousin. I talk to him all the time. He is single. He is a black male. And this is his reason why it's hard to date black women.
Yeah, I heard her question, and I've been thinking about it a lot, and I talk with my friends, and there are certain cultural differences that are taking place in the interplay between male and female relationships that I can speak upon my experience being a multicultural dater, because your question was African American women.
It was Americans on it, most notably African.
Right. And so I can come from a platform of, okay, I'm single, I'm dating, I have all my ducks in a row, I'm self-made millionaire, I got the houses, I got the cars, my profile's all good. Okay, so I'm dating and I get different reactions from different races of women, and I can only speak upon my own experience. But what I want to say is that when you're talking about the angry black female syndrome talk, that is not a fallacy, that is a tangible thing that does take place, that I experience a lot. And it is real that I'm not going to be politically correct up here, wasting my time listening to you folks. So what I'm noticing is that because of the way that traditionally we have set it up, because there was a time when women didn't work and only men had money, but yet it's 2016. But yet when a man goes out with a woman, he is supposed to pay. No matter whether the woman has more money than him or anything, he's supposed to pay. But yet the woman wants to tell him, I'm a strong black female, and she's going to kind of tell you, rrr, rrr, rrr. On the male side, if you're paying for a female all the time, and you're the one that will save a female, you're the one that would die for the female, and every time you go out, you're paying on the dates, the last thing you're going to do is put up with a female who talks to you in a harsh manner, or has to tell you that she's a strong black female, because that's unneeded to be said. Now, when I date women, Mexican women, white women, they never come at me like that. They never say stuff like that. But black women come at me like that and say stuff like that. So it is real. So everyone has to check within themselves, because I'm saying everything does. Economics is a lot. We can talk love and economics. It's a business. People get married. It's a part business relationship. So that's why when you get older, like me, I'm not going to marry a woman unless she has pretty much equal assets, because why would I take the chance of of something going wrong and I get a divorce and she wants half my stuff? So when you're young, it's purely love, yeah. As you get a little older, and if you're married, you got some assets, I'm giving it to you real. I give it to you politically correct.
Okay, so that was, thank you for, wait, just a minute. Everybody take a deep breath. Deep breath, because I think that opened up the conversation in a direction. But that's good. So I'm gonna let Brother Aline answer, and then we're gonna have your mother, we're gonna have the mother here answer. Yes, okay, good, thank you.
You keep putting me next.
Okay.
You keep putting me
My
next.
experience. I believe this, and I can only speak from my experience.
Can you see?
I love black women. And when you want to do something in life, you have to be willing to understand energy. And if you want to be mediocre, you might want to choose a docile mate. But I like a woman who speaks her mind versus holding it inside and it blow up on me about 10 years later. There are certain black women that are angry. But they have been under attack since we've been here.
Thank you.
They're beautiful, they're special, they're whole, and they're complete. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have the foundation of anything that we have today. My mother, I'm going to say this point and I'm finished. My mother had 10 children. And she told me a story one time. She said, son, your brother, I knew your father was cheating. And when I had your brother, I was in a hospital. And I had his mistress' number, and I called him over there to let him know that his child was born. I said, well, why did you do that, Mom? She said, son, you have to understand something. Your father's going to be who he is, but who he is not going to outline who I'm going to be. because I've decided that I was going to be a mother and a wife and a nurturer. And the reality of it is, when we talk about the government of America, when we talk about the news media, the black woman has been there intact since day one. And so I stand boldly to stand in front of her, to love her, respect her, and honor her. And she mouth off a little time. I just say, stop it. Stop it. That's my experience, because I was dating a young lady and we just stopped talking about 2 weeks ago. Man, she talks a lot. But I like her, though. You know why? Because, my brother, I want to attain some powerful things. So I think that there are different personalities. Not all of anything. There are some very angry black women. But some of them have reason to be angry, because some of them then fed and clothed and put a man through getting a truck driver's license, put him through college, put him through school, and he ran out on her. She's hot. She got a reason sometimes to be hot. But then there's other ones, they just wake up mad. That's that energy.
And so
I just wanted to say that.
wait, let her, and then, yes. Yes.
So, I want to ask your permission publicly if I could talk. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
No
every
personal
single thing that's been said, it's important because it's like in therapy, you're really talking about what you need to talk about at the time, something that's bothering you. But what I have found attending these type of events, which are magnificent, that the topic is being single. And I'm thinking that means what it's like to be single. We know you could go entertain yourself, you could travel, shop, do girlfriends and all of that. But here's the part that I feel that when people walk away, that they haven't had the opportunity to really talk about, because it's sort of like it's a single thing. It was a time when you're younger, you could talk to your girlfriend about sex, or that you're horny, or that this man made you feel good, or whatever the case might be. But now, we don't have to be that crude, but what is it like to not be intimate when you're committed to God? How bad does that feel, and how good does that feel? You're proud, because no matter what you say, what you teach your sons, your daughters, whatever, truth is that once you are committed to God, I mean, when you're not committed to God, you do whatever you want to do. But once you're committed to God, then you still have the same physical desires, and the devil could even make you have more than you ever had. So the point is, you should be able to say in this forum, if you don't have a parent or a girlfriend or man friend, to talk about how sometimes that could be sad and lonely and empty and not fulfilled. And then the part two is, being a Christian could be very lonely. A very lonely place to be. And so my daughter and I, there's no one closer on the earth. I'm 70 and she's 50. But when I tell you that it's hard a little bit to say something to her about that, or for her to say something like that to me, I mean that. But once in a while, I try and I'll say, "Are you lonely, honey?" You know what I mean? And then and she'll say a little bit sometime. And then I'll say to her, "Do you have a hard time sometime not being intimate?" And she'll say to me, "Sometimes, Mom." And then I'll say, "God loves you so much for your commitment, because it's hard to go as many years to be celibate, because that's what God expects. And if you really, really know that it will pay off, then it's not so hard. It's less hard than it can be, because you're waiting for that mate. It's not because you got to have a husband, got to have a boyfriend. It's that if God decides that you are to have a mate, and everybody's not to be married, there's other things to do. But anyway, that's the thing that I want if you need it, to find that person. It doesn't have to be public, but somebody that you could be honest with and talk about, I am lonely. You know, I have desires, and it's hard. So my daughter prays a lot. She writes articles on that topic to young people. There are people that would, I'm going to end it with, there were people, my daughter doesn't like it, and she talks to me about it, people bashing Ciara, the famous singer. She's dating a young man.
They're married now.
That's right, this week. She was dating a young man, very wealthy, very famous also, more wealthy than her, and they decided they want to be celibate. Now she's got a kid before that to a rapper that's just bashing her, embarrassing her about that they were intimate. But guess what? She got married last week, and it's paid off that she's got a wonderful guy, it appears to be. So anyway, that's my part, that I want each and every one of you to find somebody, because I know it's the case. Because you're human. It's the way it goes. Now, you don't have to tell me, but it is the case if you're single, and so you intellectualize everything, you spiritualize everything, but those are the important things about the topic of single that I want you to talk about. Not here, but to somebody. Okay.
Actually, okay, that was awesome. And I appreciate that. And let me just say this. One of the things, and I'm going to let Eni and somebody behind me talk. One of the things of that, thank you for all the comments that has been said thus far. One of the things that I talked about in a book that I wrote titled You Again, I talked about the journey of being a Christian and single. And once you are exposed to sex, it's not like it goes away. It's not like it just, you no longer want to have sex. So I think that was that was good that she brought that to the forefront, because that's one of the areas that oftentimes, not just as a Christian person or non-Christian, but as a human being in this journey, having an experience, those are things that we have to be honest about. And we pretend like it doesn't exist, and we pretend like it's not real, when in fact it is. Okay? And so I think that was good that you brought that up. Thank you. Yes.
So as I listen to the stories and the questions being rendered forth by the crowd and my panel here, I'm sitting here in my seat because I've been quiet for a while. The last time I spoke was during the introduction. But I'm thinking to myself, the realm of singleness that I am in is at level 1. I am in Disneyland with my singleness. I am so joyful right now, just waiting. Like the Apostle Paul says, that the unmarried woman and the unmarried man is anxious for the things of the Lord. And that's the season I'm in. I was in a relationship, an ungodly relationship, but praise the Lord, he pulled me from that dry place. That dry place. He opened my eyes up to what was really going on, and I returned back to him. I'm in a season where I am refueling myself. Before I came here, I was at a Propel Women conference, and we talked about self-care and the importance of getting back to you. It's okay to take care of you. That's what the encouragement for that day today was. It's okay to take care of you. I compare it to boarding an airplane and the flight attendant telling you in the event of an emergency, before grabbing the mask, placing it on yourself, and then you would give it to the next person. The analogy there was, before I can take care of anyone else, I have to take care of myself. I can't give 100% to the next person, and I'm running on 30%. So that's the season I am in. I really appreciate you, Mom, for bringing that up, because the complexities, the just cultural battles, I don't know that struggle. I came out of a relationship